Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another Storytime episode of the Scarish Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to read you guys some homegrown horrors today.
Indeed we are. I'm very excited. Thank you to all the folks who are joining us live at twitch.tv/scarishpodcast and youtube.com/scarish. We appreciate every single one of you. We do record these every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and then if you have another time zone, I am not familiar with it, so you could just Google it, and I'm sure the Googles will help you. But homegrown horrors is what we're here to read. Robin, what is a homegrown horror?
Oh, switching it up this week.
A little bit.
So homegrown horrors are the paranormal, supernatural, spiritual, night terror stories that you folks are gracious enough to share with us. You get them from your friends, your family, yourself. And it's great that we get to share it with the rest of our spooky friends.
Indeed. And if you folks want to reach out to us with your homegrown horror, please email us, which is storytime@scarish.com. You can also go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us, or hit us up on any of our social medias. You can find all of them at scarish.com. However, just really quickly, @ScarishPod is Twitter, @ScarishPodcast is Instagram. And
people call it Insta.
I know.
Cool.
I didn't want to act like I'm younger than I am. And Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Send us messages. You can join our Discord if you would like. We have plenty of people in there as well. You can share it for some instant feedback if you're hoping to do so. And we appreciate every single one of you. Sincerely, we do. I just want to give a shout out to Chicka Chicka Boom Boom 18, who subscribed to us using their own money, not even using Jeff Bezos' money. Very much appreciate it. And also Carius, who also subscribed to us using their own money. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We reran it because they actually subscribed when we weren't on the air. They didn't do it for the fame or the fortune. They just did it to do it because they support us, and we reran it because we want you to know we appreciate you.
And if you folks don't have Amazon Prime but would like to, get Twitch Prime, if you go to scarish.com, down at the bottom, there is a link to 30 free days of Amazon Prime. You can lick it. You can, if you want to lick your monitor, that's cool. But you can link it with your Twitch Prime and then subscribe to whatever channel that you guys want. Hopefully us, but yeah.
Indeed. So before we jump into the stories, I want to point out a couple of things. First, we have 4. We're doing 4 for a little while. They have been longer recently, like the backlog that we're getting to is some long ones, and there is no exception tonight. All of them, I believe, are kind of long, so I think it'll be normal length. The second thing I want to address is that we have this Discord, which has like 250 or so folks in it. Everyone chats about things that they're going through. Typically, we chat about silly stuff and post memes, and sometimes we talk about stuff that we're going through in life. We have a channel that's called like Mental Health Checkup or something to that nature, where people just come in and say like, man, today sucked. It's a little bit of a venting session, and everyone supports each other. And Ulri, who is a longtime listener, longtime spooky friend, and viewer, because she watches live as well, got an idea like we should use a hashtag, and shout out to Jaxie Babe, who just subscribed.
Thank you so much.
For the 6th month. And it says, this should be a longer streak, but life happens. I'm sorry. Never be sorry. We appreciate it so much. But Ulri basically said like, hey, I think we should all say something nice about ourselves and toss some stuff out and use the hashtag GoodGhosty, which is a pretty good hashtag.
Is it IE or Y?
I think it's Y. I'm pretty sure it's Y.
Pretty sure it's Y. Yeah.
Ulri's watching right now, so they can let us know. But Carly, who created the Discord for us, who's another spooky friend, made a channel for Good Ghosty. So we have like this place where you can not only go for just support, but kind of to support yourself. And I think it's kind of awesome because it kind of forces people to go in there and say something nice about themselves or say something happy that's going on with their lives. And I just want to give Ulri a shout out. It's a really, really good idea.
It's a really good idea.
And if you want to tweet us on any of our social medias, not just Twitter, I guess that's the only one you can tweet us on, or just like talk to us, use hashtag GoodGhosty and tell us something good going on in your life.
I think Twitter's the one that...
Twitter's the one for tweeting. Facebook is the one for Instagram, I think, and Instagram is the one for MySpace. I get confused, though. I'm old man, so...
Did you used to have a MySpace?
Oh, hell yeah, I had a MySpace.
Did you have a live journal?
No, I didn't have a live journal.
I had one of those. I had the MIDI music playing in the background and everything.
Shout out to DeHamburglar86 who just subscribed. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I will say I found one of my friends' live journals. And man, that shit was funny back in the day. I was in high school.
I think mine is still up. Man. I don't even know how to access it.
That's interesting.
So it's there forever.
Good to know.
Yeah.
We haven't decided who's going to go first. So would you like to, or would you like me to?
Hold on. I'll go first.
This is how all decisions
I'll go first just because
okay.
I can.
Go for it.
So this email begins. Hi, it's Lindsay again.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi. First, I want you to know that I love this podcast. Thank you. We love it too.
Thank you so much. I want to shout out Ulri, who just let us know it's #good-ghosty with a Y. So there you go.
Cool. I love to listen to it while at work, at my job, just like Adam when he worked in retail and he had his Bluetooth in his ear. I have a two story to tell you. You can read this on your podcast.
Good thing.
Thank you.
Shout out to Spooky Mom, who again edited these from...
Yeah, she's on vacation and she's still
from 2,000 miles away. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much.
But warning, while this did happen to me, it may be quote-unquote bullshit, but it did happen to me, so it's up for you to decide. Which is, I mean...
If you're saying it happened to you, then I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and believe it, unless things get really, really crazy, like you defeated an alien invasion and wiped all our memories so we wouldn't know. Then I'll start to get a little bit skeptical.
Also, I want to say that it's not as scary as some people who have shared their stories. Also, I'm dyslexic, so my English in written form may be crap. You're fine.
It's okay.
So, the first story. So, I lived in Japan for a couple of years with my parents and my twin sister.
Nice.
Wait, it's already creepy. There's a twin sister.
And
joking.
Japan.
I mean, oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Like, everything we've touched in Japan almost always takes place in a bathroom. So I'm just waiting for that to pop up in the story.
We lived on the Air Force Base in Misawa, Japan, which is an 8-hour drive up north from Tokyo. We lived there from 2009 to 2011, and during the spring and summer, we have what you call an earthquake season. So any earthquake that we had was noticed, but just dismissed as a normal everyday thing. So when on Wednesday, March 9th, 2011, we had an earthquake, it was normal. At the time, I had history, was taking a test. Again, earthquakes were normal. But I sat underneath an old-ass TV hanging above me. I looked up, and while I knew it wouldn't fall on me, I had a bad feeling that something bad was going to happen. Like, really bad. But I had a test to ace, so I put it at the back of my mind, and later I just forgot about it. Come Friday, March 11th, 2014, school just got out. Wait. Hold on.
I think it's supposed to be 2011, or the first one was supposed to be 2014, I think.
No, I think they're both 2011. But it's like 3 days or 2 days later. Right. I don't know how to count. 9th to the 11th.
The years are supposed to match up is what we're saying.
Yes.
Got it.
So, March 11th, school just got out. My twin needed to speak to her math teacher, so we went into the main building when the 9.0 earthquake happened. I have never been in such a big earthquake before.
Not many people have.
Yeah.
Like 9.0 is like incredible.
What was the one that was out here a little while ago?
That wasn't nearly that.
Was it like a 4 or something?
No, I think it was closer
7.
to 6, like the one that happened out in like
in California.
Yeah, that we felt here. I'm pretty sure that was closer to a 6.
That is insane.
Yeah, 9.0 is
devastating.
Like, yeah, it's cataclysmic. It's insanity. Like I'm pretty sure the Great San Francisco earthquake was like 9.0 or 9.1.
There was a Great San Francisco
like
earthquake.
19-aught something or other, but it basically like destroyed the entire city. So
cool.
Continue.
I mean, it's not cool that the city got decimated, but you know.
Yeah, Robin's not a fan of cities being decimated. Simply the interesting event that occurred.
The lockers were moving back and forth like crazy, and the lights were flickering on and off. Knowing we shouldn't be there, my twin and I got out of the building. We got out, and when we were in a clearing, we saw all the children on the high school stand where they were. You really shouldn't walk during an earthquake. It's dangerous, and it messes with your equilibrium. I totally believe that. So all you can see is a sea of children standing still, but also look like they're doing the wave with their body. Side note, looked really cool. Earthquake season, so normal.
That's funny.
After the earthquake ended, we went to our apartment. There we met up with my stepmother, who was shaken up. She was in the apartment during the earthquake. We lived on the 8th floor, second to the top. Man, that's scary. Because I feel like the higher up, the more you feel it. Right?
I think at this moment, I'm relieved you live so high up because I think I know what's about to come next. Which I'm pretty sure this is the tsunami.
Oh, shit. So, the Japanese are smart because they have earthquakes on a regular basis. They build their buildings on springs to absorb the shake so the building won't collapse onto themselves. And the higher you are, the more you move along with it, like the sea of children that I mentioned before. Huh. After calming her down, we, my twin, my stepmother, and I, went back up to our apartment. The apartment was a mess and the power was off. You know what that means. We had to eat the ice cream before it melts.
That's hilarious.
Solid.
Earthquake emergency, folks. We gotta
Ice
eat
cream.
that ice cream.
Well, and then wouldn't you want to just be like, everything in the freezer, we gotta eat it right now?
We did that one time just because the power went out. There was no
Did
earthquake.
you just barbecue everything in the freezer?
No, we had like a big freezer, like a deep freeze in our basement, and it had like half of a cow. Like when someone, like a local farmer would butcher one of their animals, like
Yeah, no,
if
you can
knew
order.
them,
You can order
like
by half
quarter
cow.
of a pig,
Yeah.
half a pig, whatever. I think we had like half a cow down there, and I don't think I was even living there at the time. And my parents like, hey, power's out. It's been out all day. Like
We gotta
shit's
eat
gonna
this
go
shit,
bad.
yeah.
So we went over there at like 9:30 at the night, and I'm pretty sure me and a bunch of friends that were actually able to go out. We like grabbed a bunch of beer, went over there and like made steaks and hamburgers and pretty much anything that we had in that freezer, and just had this massive feast in the middle of the night. So I'm aware of that emergency, and those are my favorite kinds.
Nice.
If you ever have an emergency where you're like, all this food needs to be eaten right now, I'm the dude to hit up for that. So just keep that in mind.
I was just appreciating your makeup. It looks good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. I'm getting better at it now that I have to do it on my own. I don't have to. She just lets me, I guess.
As we ate the mint chocolate chip ice cream, I looked out the window. I could always see the ocean line a little bit over between trees from our 8th floor apartment, but this time it looked like the ocean line was higher than usual. That's when I remembered the earthquake 2 days before and thinking about what happened earlier. I told my neighbor who was there with us and that I had a bad feeling again. She laughed it off and told me that I was overthinking it. Shrugging it off, I nodded along with her. But I still had that bad feeling that I couldn't get rid of. So I went on my way and babysat a family friend's kids. They both were military and had to go help out with the emergency that was going on. The next day, I learned that the earthquake caused the tsunami to hit the coast late yesterday. I realized that the feeling I had was about the tsunami. We didn't get hit as hard as many of the locals, but later, during the weeks that followed, the school went out and helped with the cleanup on the beach and the local farmers. And a month later, my family moved back to the States. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not like a paranormal thing, but I think our bodies sometimes can tell when something with nature like that happens.
something's
It's like
off.
like dogs and cats, they can tell
Right.
when something's gonna happen. It's
Well,
really
like,
weird.
And dogs and cats, or I should say dogs in particular, they hear on a different frequency. That's why you can have like a dog whistle where you blow it and human ears don't hear it, but it
I
just
feel like you
freaks
can
out
hear
dogs.
those, like super high pitched.
Well, like the real ones, you're not supposed to be able to hear.
Oh,
But dogs can hear it, and people hear at different frequencies. Like some people can hear higher and louder, and some people are attuned to different frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the Yanni Laurel bullshit, where it's like, which one do you hear? What about when you stand over here? Yanni Laurel. You know what I'm talking about? You don't remember this?
No. I know what you're talking about now.
It's what was it? The white and gold or black and blue dress
Yeah.
for your ears.
Oh my gosh.
I do agree with you, because like they even say that the earth emits a frequency. You know, like there's a sound that the earth makes, and I wonder if like that sound gets interrupted or disturbed by some massive event. Like you notice something is off, even if it's just like on a frequency you can't really openly acknowledge. You're just like, something feels weird. I think I've mentioned it before. My brother used to say that he believed wholeheartedly, because people put out a frequency too, that you become attuned to someone where you can even notice something's wrong from a long distance. Because I used to always get really bad feelings when I was a kid, and it was his way of trying to explain it. And I was literally explaining this to someone when I was in high school, like, yeah, this thing happens, and this is what my brother thinks it is. Anyways, the reason I'm telling you this is something's very wrong. And then I found out like something really bad had happened. And I was like, I told you, like I called that shit, because I felt like I'm not as crazy as you guys were acting like I was, and now you know. So I think that that happens with like big cataclysmic events too. So I agree.
Cool. All right. Second part here is it was in January of 2015. I was out of a normal job, and my brother and sister-in-law both had to work, and it was my job to watch my then, at the time, 6-month-old nephew. I loved watching him. 6 months old, so all I had to do was clean, feed, and put him to sleep while watching my brother's Netflix. Nice.
Pretty good.
Easy peasy, right? Well, my friends, you are right. That's funny. Loved it, but I did something stupid.
What'd you do?
I decided to watch a horror movie. The day before, I was at my mother's house, and my sister Katie, not my twin, watched the first movie of the Insidious series. Still never watched it, by the way.
No, we've never. That's one of the only ones we've never seen is Insidious.
Yeah, but I fell asleep before I could watch the second movie. So, while watching my nephew, who was sleeping, I decided to watch the second movie of Insidious that was conveniently on Netflix. And in that movie, there was a baby walker that lights up and makes noise just like my nephew's. Creepy, right? Right. But That's not why I'm writing this. After the movie, the baby was still sleeping, and I decided to take a nap. I am by myself except for the baby and my brother's black cat, D.O.G., named because he acted like a dog.
D.O.G.?
Yeah,
D.O.G.?
D.O.G. My coworker also has named his dog D.O.G.
Really?
Yes.
That's lazy, but kind of fun.
So I'm sleeping there, and it's quiet, and the baby's asleep. The scene is set. Suddenly, I jolt awake because there was a harsh voice breathing in my ear from an old man that looked like the old dude from the movie telling me harshly to wake up. I looked around and found nothing. My nephew was sleeping and the TV was off. Realizing it was probably my mind, my heart slowly calmed down even if it was real. I couldn't nope the fuck out because I had the baby and it was January in Idaho and I had no car.
You can make another one of those things. Just leave it behind. Do what you got to do. The baby won't even know what's going on.
It didn't happen again while I babysat my nephew, but it still creeps me out today. Okay, that's the end of my homegrown horror story. Sorry, it's long, and all the mistakes it seemed fine to me. Split it up if you want. I love the way you do this podcast. Seriously, listen to 5 hours of this podcast a day every time I go to work. Love you guys. Keep on creeping on, Lindsay. Thank you so much for your stories.
Thank you. We sincerely appreciate that, Lindsay.
I think when you watch movies and things like that, it does just seep into your subconscious. Yeah. And so while you're sleeping, you might have horrible dreams. But that's why my mom always told me not to watch horror movies because it happens.
Well, you know what's interesting, because I know I bring it up a lot. I bring up Nightmare on Elm Street because Freddy was like my boogeyman growing up that tormented me. Mm-hmm. That said, the movie New Nightmare that I've mentioned a few times, like the whole concept behind that movie, which I really didn't get as a kid, it was just scary, was that like Freddy is not real. Like Freddy is just so famous and so well known. And it's like such a palpable thing for so many people that it's like this entity of fear that we created, that something evil out there like latches onto the idea of Freddy and is able to cross over worlds because of this thing we created. Yeah. And I think about that a lot because I'm like, that's a really interesting concept where it's like, what if we created the boogeyman just by talking about it, or by talking about it enough and enough people believing in it, you kind of will it into existence, or like the collective fear, the collective like will of people causes weird shit to happen. And it's just an interesting take on that, where it's like, maybe if everyone stopped freaking out about it, shit would stop happening. But at the same time, it's like, but then if you calm down and shit keeps happening, you should probably run. So it's hard to test. But I'm thinking maybe that's what happened with the old man whispering in your ear. So
cool.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm going to move into my first one of the night.
Thanks.
So it is from Etsley, who is currently watching, and the subject is Wiccan Handyman, in parentheses, not sexual, LMAO, I promise.
Oh my God.
Boo, boo, boo. That's from me. Just kidding.
Is that what you're into?
Wiccan Handyman? I mean, I'll Google it and see what comes up, but I don't know. I won't knock it till I try it. It starts out like this. It's your boy, Etsley, pronounced Etsley. Again, and I got a spooky story from my young/childhood urban explorer days here in Vegas. Got some adventures from Mexico, too. Something in tonight's chat, and that means when they were watching live, because folks do that, and you folks should try it, too. But something in tonight's chat totally brought this experience back, so thanks and fuck you. LOL.
Wow.
Also, sorry if it's long. I tried to remember it as best I could. Feel free to share on the podcast. But anywho, into the story. I was always a really adventurous kid, and something about exploring has always called out to me. So as a result, I love sneaking into any abandoned places I could find. Totally the same way. I don't know if Robin's that way.
Nope.
But I am that way too. Many of the places I snuck into were abandoned for a few months because I wasn't quite brave enough to break into older buildings. In parentheses, the older it is, the more ghosts there could be. LOL. It's a pretty good rationale.
So you must have a lot of ghosts in you.
Because I'm old. That's mean. So when a house, maybe that's why I'm so big. So when a house near my neighborhood had been abandoned for a couple weeks, I decided it was safe enough to explore without causing any trouble. But as I planned my adventure, a girl I like shared interest in exploring too. In parentheses, we'll call her Maria. 12-year-old me.
Did you just kiss a girl named Maria?
God.
I've never seen West Side Story.
You've never seen West Side Story?
No, I just know that song.
This is a true story. I saw West Side Story in 8th grade because I used to have a class called music, which I don't know if any kids still have it because it's been taken out of the curriculum so many places.
I took music class.
It's like music appreciation. We watched West Side Story, and I grew up in a place called Boone Grove, Indiana. So my middle school was called Boone Grove Middle School, and it was, as you can guess, primarily Caucasian. And I believe...
Was it in a boone or a grove?
No. It was not. What's a boon?
I don't know, the boons. Boonies.
You mean boondies? I mean, it wasn't
What's
the
a boonie?
boondies. It means like out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, this is supposed to be brief, but it's veered off in too long. We watched a stupid movie, West Side Story. It's about like the gang of whites versus the gang of Puerto Ricans. The gang of whites is called the Jets. The gang of Puerto Ricans is called the Shark. I'm Puerto Rican. Only Puerto Rican dude in my class. Probably the only Puerto Rican kid in the middle school. So as soon as we left the movie, or left the classroom after watching the movie, all my friends are like, we're Jets and you're a Shark. And they start like snapping at me and coming at me. I was like, I will fucking beat the shit out of every single one of you. Like, this casual racism shit will end now. And I went home and I was like, why aren't there more Sharks in my school?
But you're half and half.
They
so-
don't recognize half and half. Back there, it's the one drop rule. Like, they knew I was not white, and that's what it was, straight up. So I was a Shark, and every time someone brings up West Side Story, I'm just like, trigger. Like,
Wow.
8th grade me is like, I will punch an 8th grader in the face, I swear. All right, I swear I'm getting back to your story, Etsley. They're watching live, and they're like, why the fuck is Adam talking so much? It continues. But as I planned my adventure, a girl I like shared interest in exploring too. We'll call her Maria. That's what set us off. 12-year-old me couldn't think of a cooler hangout idea, so I asked her to come with me. Apparently, spooky stuff is actually a really good bonding experience, LMFAO. But anyway, we met up after school and walked to the house. It wasn't old, but sometimes in the 80s or 90s, built sometime in the 80s or 90s, I guess. But from what you could see, it was like my own home. Using that, I thought there might be some kind of sliding door in the backyard like my house had. And there was. It was surprisingly unlocked, which was strange because all house owners leave the doors locked until real estate agents can try selling it. But we couldn't see any cars or people inside the house on our way to the back, as all the curtains were drawn. It was off-putting, but I shrugged it off because
Demons.
I wanted to be the brave, cool guy for my crush. This is adorable. This is like Stranger Things. So let's see if it works out like Stranger Things. Maybe it's like It.
They're sacrificing someone inside.
Oh, God. We stepped inside. In parentheses, leaving the sliding door open, LOL. Good. That way you can make your escape. I hate you so much. Well, here's the thing. You leave the sliding door open so you can run out if you need to, but then when you hear it close, you know you're fucked and you're trapped. So hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, leaving the sliding door open to find the place completely trashed.
Whoa.
The back door led immediately into a kitchen/dining area, but it was obvious someone had gotten there first, as they had taken the stove and tried to take the dishwasher and disassembled most of the sink. It wasn't uncommon for people to scrap what they could from houses, but I hadn't known they could do it so quickly. I was a bit unnerved, but I could still see the tools laying around the remainder of the sink, which meant people could still be nearby, but decided to push on anyway, while Maria stuck close and put her hand on my shoulder. Nice. So I could be her shield against the rest of the dark house. In parentheses, it made my little heart flutter, LMFAO. From our view in the kitchen, I want everyone that has a story like this where they try to impress their crush, scarish or not, to fucking share it with us, because this is such a good story. From our view in the kitchen, there was a door directly ahead to our left, then an opening to the living room to the right, and finally a long hallway that split into 2 bedrooms, each one on either side of the hall. We decided to check the closest door, the one to our left, and poked our heads inside to see. Nothing. It was a pitch black room, no sunlight or windows anywhere, until I realized it was the garage. We fumbled around in the dark, trying to find anything interesting, but gave up because we couldn't see a thing. Maria suggested the bedrooms because we should have been able to see if we opened the curtains a little. Shout out to Midnight Lovelace, who just followed us on Twitch.
Thank you so much.
The story continues. So we set off, still sticking close together, in parentheses, the highlight of the whole experience, until we passed the living room entirely into the hallway. Just as we stepped foot on the carpet, I heard a sickening crunch. I looked down to see glass, and more of it haphazardly strewn down the hall to the bedroom on the right, where the door was ajar. Maria and I looked at each other, and we both felt that get the fuck out of here instinct, but my curiosity was killing me, so I reassured her, telling her we should check it out. I think she wanted to wait for me outside, but felt I would probably walk into my murder because of my stupid curiosity, so she made me promise we'd run if something happened. I pinky promised, so you're sworn for life.
That's
You pinky
so
promised,
cute.
and
with
we
his crush. That's the best
this is
part.
adorable. I pinky promised, and we tried avoiding the glass where we could until we reached the room. With one last glance at each other, we peeked inside. To our complete amazement and abject horror, There were 5 burnout candles in the form of a pentagram, broken picture frames, and a mason jar filled with some leaves / some kind of plant.
I told you it was a sacrifice.
I don't believe in energies. I hope you could hear my air quotes. But the way that room felt was something electric, in parentheses, and not in a good way. It was genuinely a sight that instantly fills you with dread, and the whole room felt awful to be inside of. Even so, being terrified out of my fucking mind, I cautiously crept in and leaned down to pick up a candle. It was still warm, and I nearly dropped it out of shock. Turning around to show Maria, I noticed an open closet right next to the door.
Oh, no. Someone's got to be in there.
I couldn't see much, but I saw a huge opening like an attic hatch. As I strained to see what was up there, I caught a flash of movement, as if someone was moving to avoid being seen. I've never turned noped so damn fast. I was damn near an Olympic runner, grabbing Maria's hand and almost dragging her with me while running over the glass in the hall, not even caring about the noise we were making. Bursting into the backyard, trying to lower our fucking blood pressure, I asked if she saw it too. From her view in the hall, she didn't even, quote, know there was a closet. I wanted to talk more, but we almost pissed ourselves a second time when we heard, "Do you live here?"
Oh my God, no!
We spun around to see a woman in business clothing holding a clipboard. This bitch is clearly a realtor, just from your description.
My gosh.
We assumed she was a real estate agent approaching us from the other backyard gate. She looked annoyed, but we weren't going to stay to find out what else she was feeling because we booked it out of the backyard and into the main street, running as fast as our little legs could take us. We got away pretty scot-free, but Maria and I talked about it for days after. But now that I think about this whole repressed memory, I still wonder who or what was in the attic. Was it some person doing witchcraft who then hid when they heard us come in? Or some handyman who didn't want to get caught stealing a sink?
Oh my God.
Or maybe a Wiccan handyman who was multitasking when we rudely interrupted? That's so good, and the title now makes sense. Honestly, my curiosity will be the fucking death of me, LMFAO. But thanks for listening, guys, and sorry about the jumbled mess of my writing. Spooky Mom Linda, you're the MVP. That's was
really good.
So good,
It's
man. That's like a
story.
season of Stranger Things, and I enjoyed it immensely. I think what you stumbled upon was other kids just like you who just found a book about pentagrams and plants. They were trying to probably, like, I don't know, summon Groot or some shit, and they heard you coming down the hall when you stepped on the shit, obviously, when you stepped on the glass, and went into the attic because that was their escape plan. I hope we get an email later on in the lifetime of Scary-ish where it's like, me and my friends went to go perform our first spell and we saw a creature creeping down the hallway at us with 2 heads.
Miranda says, meanwhile, some teen Wiccan has just finished her first ritual.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that story was excellent. Etzley, thank you so much for sending it to us. We appreciate you. And everyone, send us your childhood memories of Scooby-Dooing around like this because they're just so damn funny. Or crush stories where you made an ass of yourself or like pulled it off. You got like a hug or something out of it, or a hand on the shoulder, or maybe even held hands, because this is just so wholesome. I love it. So thank you.
All right. So this next email is titled, "You Can Read This on the Pod," which is solid. It begins. Hey, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. My name's Karina. First off, I would love to thank you guys for doing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are absolutely amazing. And second, I would like to apologize for how long this email is. And you guys can pick what stories you want to read or split them up or something because I have a lot of stories.
We're just going to power through them.
I first found you guys when I was looking for new podcasts to listen to on Spotify. I never realized how big Spotify was.
Karina is also watching right now in YouTube.
Oh,
so 2 out of 3 of the emails that have been read tonight have been read to the viewers who are currently watching, which is pretty awesome.
All right.
That's exciting.
So Spotify, shout out to Spotify, is what it's typed there. I didn't actually say it. That's Adam's job to say it.
Shout out to Spotify.
I went through like 10 of them from all different genres, and to me, they were all so boring. Then I happened across the Scary-ish podcast. You had only 3 episodes out at the time. Holy shit, you've been here for forever.
Right? Sorry about those early episodes. I don't know if they were good or not. I haven't heard them in a long time.
But as soon as I hit play on the first episode, I fell in love. Oh, you're so sweet. You guys keep me company when I'm cleaning, working on my art, and just when I have nothing to do. Your jokes are hilarious, and your topics are just perfect. I love that you started having story time, and I've wanted to send some of my stories that I've heard. I personally have not experienced anything scary or paranormal, knock on wood, but a lot of my family has, especially my grandmother. Back a couple of years ago, I was all over paranormal/scary stories. I'd go on as many ghost tours that I could find in my travels, and even went so far as to try and contact something or someone from the other side. A very stupid thing to do, but oh
Were
well.
you just trying to say hello from the other side?
Well,
Or was it more nefarious? Like, were you trying to find it to
technically,
your
we're
will?
the other side, right?
I mean,
If we're saying
whichever
hello from
side
the
you're
other
on,
side.
technically the other side is the other side. So to a ghost, she would just be saying hello from the other side.
All right,
Yeah.
solid.
I'm pretty sure that's what that Adele song is about. What's
Is
it
it?
called?
Really?
Skyfall?
No.
She just looks at me
Hello
like,
from the other
"Is it?"
side is hello from the other side.
I know. That was the joke.
Oh, okay. Once I started dating my now boyfriend, who is a devout Christian, as I am, he begged me to stop messing with that kind of stuff. He was terrified because his uncle, who was a priest, became possessed while on a ghost tour or
Whoa.
something, and eventually died from it.
Whoa.
That
is-
escalated quickly.
Yeah, that is scary.
I respect my boyfriend's wishes, so I stopped trying to contact things. I stopped with the tours and even stopped watching and listening to scary things. Except you guys, I couldn't give you up. Aw, thank you. I think we're more funny than scary. I don't think we're scary at all, really.
It
right?
depends on the episode. Some of the stuff we've
That's
covered,
why
people
we're
get
called
really freaked out.
scary-ish.
Yeah, we cover scary stuff, but we do it from a place of humor because we're silly assholes, and that's just how we do stuff. So I think we're aptly named.
Man, my nose is so itchy. Before I
Is it
gave
full of
up,
bugs?
no, it's not full of bugs. The tip is itchy, and I don't want to like.
Scratch off your makeup?
Yeah, so
That is
I'm
my
like,
concern every time I touch my nose and my face during the show, is my makeup's going to come off. Everyone's going to be like, ugh, look at it. It's
Look at that.
hideous.
Red-cheeked weirdo.
He's disgusting.
Okay, so before I gave up all the ghost things, I asked almost every family member to give up the juicy details of any creepy/paranormal experience they had. The only person who had any stories was my grandmother, and oh boy, she had some stories. Story number 1, not so scary. I think this is going to be like increase in scariness.
You think they're going to do that to us? I mean, she's
So-
watching right now. Karina, does this scale up? Like, warn us if it does so I can step out of the room for the 4th story. Actually, I can't do that. I'm not wearing pants.
So my grandmother, who grew up in Mexico, told me that when she was little, she had an aunt who had the quote-unquote evil eye, where whenever her aunt looked at someone, she would have to touch them in order to keep them from getting sick. What?
That's an evil... I thought you were just talking about, like, when you make someone mad and they give you the stink eye, not like you make someone mad and they try and kill you.
My coworkers yesterday said that I gave them the stink eye, and I was like, I don't even know what that is.
That's just her face.
What is that? I have yes, I have resting bitch face, but when I came into work and I looked at them, I didn't give them a stink eye. I was just like giving them a look like, what are you looking at?
The fuck you
But
looking at?
no.
Yeah, that's healthy. I have people
Anyway.
ask me all the time, like, what's wrong? And I like look at them like, this is just my face. Like, there's nothing wrong. I was born like this. Maybe he's born with it.
I was going to say maybe it's just Maybelline. Okay. Anyway.
I'm just born with it.
One time, her aunt went to someone's house. This is Maybelline. Not really. It's MAC, but okay.
It is MAC makeup. Shout out to MAC makeup.
Yes, and can you please sponsor us? I would love it.
That'd be fantastic.
One time, her aunt went to someone's house that had a pet bird, and when she left, the next day, the bird died.
Wow.
What? Another instance, she'd forgotten to touch one of my grandma's cousins who had to be driven back to her aunt's house the next day just to be touched. She said he was so violently ill that he was throwing up all the way over. After he was touched, though, the sickness immediately stopped.
So-
That's creepy.
Would you say that she's down with the sickness?
Oh my God.
Do you think she has to touch them and go like, wah?
No,
Don't tell me you weren't thinking it. Come on.
I wasn't thinking it, but oh my God. Okay, anyway.
Sorry.
God.
Didn't mean to derail the
Okay.
story.
Story number 2 is demonic, apparently. My grandma had a friend whose mother was very disturbed, and it got to the point where they thought she was possessed. She was, so they brought in a priest. She said that the friend's mother was put in a rocking chair in the middle of the room and was surrounded by salt. When the priest started the exorcism, her friend said her mother started screaming and pointing in the corner, saying there was someone there. My grandma did not tell me anything else about the exorcism, but she did say that it was successful. That's good.
Yeah.
Story number 3 is titled The Curse. I don't know who this person was or how my grandmother knew her or the story. I don't remember, but I remember what happened. So there was this woman who was perfectly fine, perfectly happy, and loved by everyone. One day, she started hearing voices telling her to do things. At one point, she tried to jump into oncoming traffic, and she was put in a mental institution.
Wow. That reminds me of that one topic that you covered.
The twins?
Yeah, the twins that just snapped.
The twins that the one just kept running into the road.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Well, one of her kids was going through drawers in her house and found a box with a picture of her mom in it. One of her mom's brushes, a candle, and a piece of her mom's hair I'm assuming was in this box. She knew exactly what it was. It was a curse that had been placed on her mother. It turns out that one of the woman's neighbors was extremely jealous and wanted to ruin her good life. The woman who had placed the curse, after some convincing, eventually agreed to break the curse. That's messed up, bro.
After some convincing, like, take this curse off my mom.
That reminds me of that one story we did way, way back where...
I know exactly what you're thinking of.
With the kid's grandma. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's I think it's Storytime 3. I had to look that up for someone because we were talking about it. It was, I went back for that bachelor party and my friend...
The one that messes the most people up?
Yeah, my friend who listens to the show brought it up around my friends who don't and was just like, that scared the shit out of me. I was like, I had to pause recording. I was so scared. And that is 100% true. So check that story out. That's another scary one that's similar to that. Stop cursing people. That's just messed up.
Story 4 is titled Knocking. My grandmother was at a friend's house with her husband eating dinner when they heard a knock on the second floor balcony window. They could see the window perfectly from the table and saw that there was no one and no way there could have been a knock. To her surprise and terror, her friend looked to the window and said, "Come in." No way.
Why would you do that?
Oh my God. Ugh.
Haven't you ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer? He's on the second floor. He doesn't invite him in. That's just how it goes. I'm talking about the movie, not the show.
Apparently, when you hear a knock like that, it's someone who's recently passed, and it's polite to invite them in or something. When my grandma and grandpa came home, immediately they got a call saying that one of their family members had passed.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's scary because, like, what if it's not? What if it's something else and then you invite them in? It's like, you live with demons now.
We had that story from
It's just so creepy.
That lady who said, like, her and her mom talked about ways they could signal each other if one of them passed away. And then, like, all the toys came on in that room she stayed in the night her mom passed away.
Yeah.
But she, like, she got a really horrible feeling and she realized it wasn't her mom. Like, it was something, like, messing with her, trying to get into her life.
Yeah.
Like, that's just scary.
It's just like the Annabelle creation movie where the thing was like, oh, we're your daughter. Let's and it ends up being this evil being.
Well, it's their goddamn fault. They literally say, like, we were praying to God and that didn't work, so we decided to pray to anything. It's like, well, that's a dickhead move.
Gosh.
Like, what did you think was going to happen?
It's just so, ugh. Anyway, continuing on. I have more stories, but I think I'll send them in later because this one's getting too long. Thank you guys for making my hard times less unbearable and keeping me company when I'm working. I hope you guys get to read this on the pod. P.S. Thank you, Adam's mom, for reading through this. Oh, you guys are so sweet. It probably has so many errors, and thank you for all the work you do for the amazing podcast. Love you guys, Karina. P.S.S. Omen baby's attached. Cat's name is Gus. He's a butthole. And my bird's name is Noodle. Aww. He's a turd, but I love them both.
Thank you for sending that in, Karina.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Good. Thank you for joining. Karina let us know, too. This is the first time she's joined us live.
What? What are the odds?
Perfect timing,
What are
Karina.
the odds?
Solid
And you just had
stuff.
to make a horrible joke.
Which one?
Yeah.
That's a good joke. I'm sorry. I'm pretty proud of that joke. It wasn't, like, uncouth. It was just silly. So, good stuff. Thank you so much for sending that in. So, I'm going to go ahead and move into my last one for the night and the last one for the show. This one's from Captain Fake Eye, who typically watches. And the subject is medical story, not scary, heartwarming.
Aw,
so strap in for something heartwarming to round out the show. And it starts out like this. Hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. I have a story to tell you from the hospital that I work at. I'm currently an OBGYN resident, and I spend a lot of my time delivering babies and going to the operating room to do hysterectomies.
Hysterectomies is when they take all your junk out. Okay.
I know. It was looking weird to me for a second there, etc. I love my job because it involves helping women and bringing new life into the world.
That's
really sweet.
Amazing. Wait, so they're a doctor?
Yeah. I mean,
dude,
I'd hope so. They're just showing up and doing hysterectomies and delivering babies. And they're an OBGYN resident, so I'm pretty sure that means they're a doctor.
That is amazing.
However, as you can imagine, with the highs, there are also days that are filled with lows. Women dying, babies dying, and other terrible outcomes that cannot be prevented. Being the science-minded person that I am, and I'd like to point out, this is not an email, this is a science-minded person that listens to Scarish. There are a lot of skeptical people who listen to Scarish, and a lot of people from like different walks of life. And I absolutely love that. I do. Okay, getting back to it. Being the science-minded person that I am, I don't really believe in the paranormal or the divine. However, one event this year really stands out to me and makes me think that maybe, just maybe, there may be true miracles. This sounds like the intro to a Hallmark movie, but in the best of ways. I have to watch Hallmark movies all the time because Robin and her sister are so addicted to them.
I just have one DVR'd right now that I have to finish later today.
So much. Okay, continuing. A woman came into our emergency room one night after having broken her water at only 24 weeks, which is 13 weeks from full term. In parentheses, 37 weeks is considered full term, but you can deliver babies between 37 and 42. So she's 24 weeks, 13 weeks early. If you don't know, 24 weeks is right at the cusp of what we call viability. This is the gestational age that babies, if they are born, have a 50% chance of living. We have an amazing neonatal ICU, and our hospital numbers are much better than the national average. Still, babies born at 24 weeks have a significant chance of not surviving or living with severe neurological damage simply because they are not developed enough to live out in the outside world. Unfortunately, by the time she got to the hospital, she had delivered the umbilical cord, but the baby was still inside. All right, so I guess we should just put in a warning that there'll probably be some details in here regarding this childbirth that's about to happen. So if you're triggered, skip forward to hopefully the miracle part. Continuing on. This is an absolute emergency in our field because the umbilical cord is what attaches the baby to the placenta and is the baby's only nutrients and oxygen source while inside the mother. The cord being delivered first means that the baby, which is coming after, can cut off its own blood supply. When we saw her in the emergency room, the cord had already stopped pulsing. We used an ultrasound to see what was happening on the inside, but the baby had no heartbeat in the womb.
Ugh.
I myself saw that the baby's heart was completely still for more than 1 minute. Our team told the woman and her partner the terrible news, that her baby did not survive. She and her partner were, of course, devastated. We admitted her to the labor floor because her cervix was fully dilated. She started to push and gave birth to, in parentheses what we thought was, a stillborn 45 minutes later. The pediatrics team came to assess the baby and confirm what we already knew, that there was no heartbeat and no respiratory effort.
There's going to be a miracle here. There has to be.
They said that at the beginning.
Okay.
We wrapped the baby. Damn it, you made me lose my place.
Sorry.
All right. We wrapped the baby in a blanket and allowed her and her partner time to grieve for their loss. However, 15 minutes later, I got an unbelievable page from my nurse. The patient pushed her call button and said that about 10 minutes after we had left the room, the baby, which had no heartbeat and no respiratory effort at birth, had started to move.
It's like 101 Dalmatians.
I hate you from comparing this story to a freaking Disney movie about dogs.
It's like when they think Lucky's dead and they hold Lucky and then he pets him a whole bunch and then Lucky comes back to life.
It's not exactly like that, but yeah, I guess it's kind of similar. We immediately paged pediatrics who came to reassess the baby. At that time, the baby had a weak heartbeat and was breathing, so the pediatrics team began to resuscitate him, just like that dog in that movie. The baby ultimately made it and is currently doing well in the NICU.
That's awesome.
This is absolutely unheard of, as I myself was ultrasounding her and looking at the baby's heart for 1 full minute, and there was no heartbeat. The mother also had to push for more than 45 minutes, and there was still no heartbeat upon delivery, so the baby was technically dead for more than 45 minutes.
Wow.
The fact that he regained a heartbeat is an absolute miracle and defies all science and logic. Anyway, that's my heartwarming paranormal ? Or miracle ? Story.
I'm going to say it's a miracle.
However you want to see it. Thanks for a great podcast, Captain Fake Eye. Well, thank you so much for saying that in.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's absolutely incredible.
Covered in cold chills, and there's a tear in my right eye because that is amazing. You don't need to pat me on the back every time I get emotional.
I just like to. It's a little support I give you.
It feels like half support, half like, you're a little bitch, but that's okay. But that is a wonderful,
you're my little bitch.
Wonderful story, and just knowing that things like that are possible, like anyone that goes through something like really, really bad, like when you think like things are just as bad as they could ever possibly be, they don't always have to be. You know what I mean? Like, continue to hope for the best even when all hope seems lost. And that's the whole keep going thing that we talk about a lot. So thank you so much for sending that in.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It was incredible.
It's
a really,
so cool.
really high note to end on, because a lot of times somehow we wind up getting like the really
worst
sad
ones at the end.
I won't call them the worst ones.
They're not the worst, but it's like the ones that
sad ones.
or freak you out a whole bunch,
Yeah,
where you
this
just
is true.
end up on the scary ones. But yeah,
this is
no,
Christmas
really
in
good.
August because I like to do miracle episodes in Christmas. And
I bet there's a Hallmark movie named Christmas in August.
I guarantee you there is. There's a Hallmark movie named. There's a Hallmark movie named just like that one movie with the dog. So
thank you everyone for joining us for this live stream this week. It was really fun. There was a lot of talking, which is our favorite thing to do during these live streams. So if you folks want to join us, we record every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'd love to see new faces. Twitch.tv/scarishpodcast or youtube.com/scarish.
Indeed. Thank you to everyone who sent in their stories. We appreciate all the folks that share their homegrown horrors. Like Robin says every week, it can be your story, a friend's story, a family member's story. Just go ahead and email it to storytime@scarish.com. You can click on, everyone's making fun of Robin for something silly that she
Kentucky
said.
Derby.
I let it go. She said Kentucky and
no,
Kentucky.
But my tongue just stuck in my mouth.
And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. And like, I just see the stream chat going by like, Kentucky? So it's funny. That's why you gotta join us for the live streams, because we say silly shit and we get ripped on, and it's really, really fun. But again, email storytime@scarish.com. Go to our website, scarish.com, and click on contact us. Or you can message us on our social medias, facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod. Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for the folks who would like to donate money to us, how can they do so?
Okay, I was waiting. So if you folks go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, those are monthly donations. There's a whole bunch of different tiers starting at $1. I have a theme thing going on right now, that, as I said earlier in the stream, but it's going to be horror icon season this fall, so I'm going to be drawing a whole bunch of different stuff.
Shout out to Killsman who just followed us on Twitch. We appreciate you following us. We really do.
So if you folks join us at Patreon, check those out. And then if you want to donate just one time, you can go, there's a link down at the bottom of our Twitch channel, actually, under donation. You just click on it and you can donate money that way. Or you can go to Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast, and those are one-time donations. All those donations help us upgrade our studio setup, as well as just upgrading this little computer that does everything here.
I don't know if we said it because we're in the excitement of the race that happens at the end of the night. That's right, I said race. Maybe you should tune in to find what's up. But Mama Nikki subscribed, and Hollister also subscribed.
Wow,
on Twitch.
Congratulations. Thank you guys so much.
They use money from their own pockets, too. They didn't use Jeff Bezos' money. But if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, Jeff Bezos personally gives you $5 to spend per month on your favorite Twitch channel that you can give to them, and you just take it from his hand and hand it to them. Let us be that person who you give Jeff Bezos' money to.
If you don't have Amazon Prime, you can go over to scarish.com, and there is a link all the way down to the bottom to 30 free days of Amazon Prime, and you can connect your Twitch account to that, get Twitch Prime. Linking them is totally free, included with your Amazon Prime subscription. And, check it out.
30 free days of Twitch Prime.
At scarish.com.
30 free days of Amazon Prime. That's what it was, right?
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
That is my favorite sequel to 500 Days of Summer. It's the same thing. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in it. It's really weird. Should check it out. I think that's all the bad jokes that we have for you folks tonight. So, Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.